Like Addison.
God damn it.
Oh shit. Hello, welcome to On the Rocks. My name's Matt, this is Addison, and today we're going to be tasting some Four Roses. You've got the yellow label, small batch select, and the single barrel. Small batch select is going to be the newest addition to the group. It was added in 2019. The yellow label, it is a combination of all 10 of their recipes. 2 mash bills, 5 yeast strains, you get 10 different recipes total. And they put a combination of all 10 into this, bottle it at 80 proof, so it's 40%. It's gonna be the weakest of the selections, but just like really good all around starter bourbon, great mixer, good sipper. Got it today, it was on sale for like 22 bucks, so get it pretty cheap most places. Four Roses in general, they're gonna have a higher rye content than most normal straight bourbons.
So that makes it a little bit spicier.
Yeah, a little spicier, a little brighter. Yeah, definitely. It's part of its signature. Part of the reason I love it so much. Honestly, it's some of my favorite stuff.
Super good.
Yeah,
It's very good. I've only had this guy, so I'm stoked to try these, but it's always so.
So you haven't had anything
No,
beyond?
I've not had any of these. I've just had this one, and for 22 bucks, like, you can't beat it.
The small batch, just the normal small batch, has 4 of the 10 recipes, all aged 6 to 7 years at a minimum, bottled at 90 proof. Right there, it's kind of in the middle of all the selections, 45%.
Really good, obviously.
Yeah, and I should also...
Because we're starting out with half a bottle.
So
which is a good sign.
It is a good sign. I should have gotten a full bottle, but we had this.
We know it's good.
This actually from a previous video, first one I did when I was hiking with Kyle. This is what I took. It's one of the staples. Like Four Roses small batch is always on my shelf personally because it's really good sipper. It's like in the low 30s price wise usually. Again, we're in North Carolina, so I think sometimes the prices might be a little bit higher or lower depending on where you are. Next we have the small batch select, and that's the newest selection, like I said, the newest addition to their permanent rotation, I should say. Just throwing all sorts of words out there. It's gonna be, I guess, big brother of the regular small batch. Both small batches share 2 recipes, I forget which ones. Again, the normal small batch has 4 of the 10 recipes.
Yeah.
Small batch select has 6 of the 10, and it's bottled at a higher proof. So this one's bottled at 102, I believe, 102 proof, 104 proof, excuse me. So 52%.
Nice.
104 proof. Last we have the Four Roses single barrel. That's going to be just the first recipe that it's coming from. And I believe all their, like the normal standard single barrel offerings come from that first recipe. If you get one of these and you're ever wondering what the stuff means on the front, reading left to right, that first letter is going to be the warehouse, and then so this one is warehouse G. Yeah, so this is on the east side of warehouse G. So this is GE, and then the last part of it, I believe 25, I think is the row. 4 is what they call the rick.
How it's stacked.
Yeah, I think so. Like the level it's on, that sequence on the front tells you like exactly where they pulled it from, so exactly which warehouse and like, you know, the exact area in that warehouse.
Gotcha.
So that's pretty cool, and I think would be, you know, especially cool if you actually went and toured the distillery, like, oh, I had some of that.
Yeah, you can see like kind of where exactly it came from. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So is this stuff aged longer? I mean, it's like if you look at this compared to down here, it's darker. I mean, does that mean that like it's just sat in the barrel longer and it's soaked in more of the wood? I don't know how it works, but
that's a really good question, because it is. Yeah, you can see the progression. The base Four Roses is aged at least all the recipes they pull from. I believe they're aged at least 5 years. Then 6 to 7 for both the small batches, and I think the single barrel is aged at least 7 to 8 years. I'll check my notes again and add an addendum if needed. But yeah, it's aged a smidge longer. All right, so we are gonna start with the original Yellow Label Four Roses. Really good starter bourbon for your collection. This is the youngest of the bunch. The bourbons that go into this are aged at least 5 years, but if you're able to see, it is definitely a lighter color, lighter amber color. Coats the glass fairly well, given its lower proof. Yeah, you see how the droplets are moving down very, very quickly. It's gonna change by the time we get to this buddy. They'll probably scamper down a little quicker. But,
sniff.
Yeah, give it a sniff. It's really easy on the nose. You definitely get the vanilla that comes through, and the rye just jumps out very bright. Like all these offerings are just very, like the rye makes it just bright is the best word that I can use for it. It's like a little bit of spice and just really brings everything together. Yeah, and I smell vanilla, a little bit of that oak. Let's see how it tastes.
Let's do it. Tastes good.
Yeah, that's smooth. It's smooth as a sipper. Again, got this for $22. Really tastes the vanilla that comes through. A little bit of darker fruit, and like I don't know if it's the rye or what. I don't know. There's like a little bit of like herbal something that to kind of round out the flavor profile, but goes down really smooth. Has a really good mouthfeel. Goes down really smooth. Again, for its price, as just far as a sipping whiskey goes, really, really hard to beat.
I feel like this is a good one for if you're going to hang out with some people, have a casual night drinking. You show up with this and be like, all right, that looks pretty good, tastes good. If you were to show up a bottle of like Jack Daniels or something like that, I'm just gonna gag, but I'm gonna be happy about this. So for a low price,
yeah,
good to just take to hang out, sip on.
That's a good point. You show up to a party, this will be a hit. So small batch, already went over it a little bit. Age 6 to 7 years, always on my shelf. This, again, you can already see it's a little bit darker than the Yellow Label, and it is bottled at 90 proof, so a little bit stronger. Still coats the glass nicely, and there's gonna be fingerprints on this. It is what it is. We're working out production. Definitely a little easier on the nose than the Yellow Label. Bit smoother, just smoother.
First thing I smell is caramel.
Caramel, yeah. It does have more of like a dessert.
That's what I was gonna say, like some candy or something like that. You know, obviously it's not sweet, but
it's caramel and
it smells good.
Something.
So that's good. That's like both of these are really good. This has a little bit of a different kind of bite. I feel like it's not quite as much of a bite, which I don't know. I kind of like the bite sometimes, but this is definitely a little bit smoother.
I think like the rye comes through a little bit more with this, and it feels more dialed in. Like the more I learned, like it makes sense because with the Yellow Label, you do kind of taste that it's coming from all the recipes. You get a little bit of everything. Yeah, this one it has more of a dialed in flavor. It's the best way I can put it. Like it's more focused is the word I'm looking for. Like you get caramel, you get that rye coming through a lot.
Yeah. And so you said that the price on this, it's not much more than your blend on the end, right? It's, what is this, 30?
Yeah, I forget what I got the small batch for, but you can usually find this no more than 35, I would say.
Yeah, I feel like this is one of those things, you're trying to pick something that you just want to keep around your house to have to sip on a weeknight because work sucked, and you want something that's going to taste good. This is going to be the thing. Like, I'd also keep some of this down here on hand, but honestly, because of how smooth this is, I think that's probably worth a little bit extra, in my opinion.
No, this is one of the ones I'll pull out as like if you have some friends over and you want to have like a sipper, but it's maybe a couple too many people, you don't want to necessarily get into the
real good stuff.
The good stuff. No offense to anybody.
They're not great friends. They're just they're work friends.
They're just
being cordial.
It's a really good all around. You could mix it again. Really good sipper. That was a good way to put it, because I think you'll find the yellow label on any bar. The small batch is always going to be on my bar, and I think we're finding a consistent theme that, again, good for any occasion. So next up we have the small batch select, and that's actually the only one of these four that I have not tried. I've not had the pleasure of trying the small batch select, so we're trying this for the first time together today. And this is the highest proof of their regular offerings at 104 proof, 52%. Almost kind of messed that up again. Gonna try and do smaller pours here. Can always drink more. And let's see. Yeah, similar color to the regular small batch. Still gonna be pulling from barrels of the same age. But you see how they're running down the glass a little bit more. You're gonna get that with the higher proof. Not a significant difference, but it is interesting to see.
It smells good. Like, I still get a little bit of that caramel, but it's a little bit of a deeper.
It smells very similar to the small batch
smell. Yeah, which, I mean, it makes sense that it smells similar because you said that they share the same qualities, right?
Yeah, they share two of the same recipes. So, they've got two recipes that overlap, and then this has got a few additional ones that are different from the normal small batch. But let's taste it and see.
Let's do it. It's good. I feel like it's got a little bit more of a bite to it.
Oh yeah, you definitely taste the higher proof a little bit. But it's not like it still goes down incredibly smooth.
Yeah.
And man, yeah, that's really good.
That's good. Yeah, and I mean, it's a bite in a good way. Like, you get, I don't know, there's some different sort of flavor you get because it's got that little bit of spiciness to it. It's the rye or whatever. I don't know enough about it, but it sounds like the rye is kind of what gives it that spiciness.
Yeah, getting a lot of that, and definitely feel the higher proof. But that's very smooth.
Yeah,
I will say, so again, going back to price, the small batch select is also the most expensive of the selections. It comes in around, I think this was around $60. But what do you think about it?
I mean, I think I really like it. For the price point, I feel like if you're newer to this stuff, it probably makes more sense, maybe spend the $35 instead, at least initially. Get an idea of what that tastes like, get somewhat of an appreciation for it, then try this stuff out, because it is really good. But I feel like if you're just starting out, you're not going to taste this and be like, this is so much better and worth the extra $25 or whatever. But I mean, there are differences in flavors that make it really good.
For sure. Like Addison said, that was a perfect way to put it. If you're trying to ease into this, start with a small batch, see how you like that. If you do like that, it seems obvious, but if you like that, I think you'll really enjoy the small batch select, because it is It's a lot of the stuff you get in the normal small batch, but ramped up. The rye, like you said, really jumps out at you. You feel the burn of the higher proof in a good way.
Yeah.
Again, really smooth going down.
That's good.
So
That's good.
that is the small batch select. And for the last one, we have the single barrel, bottled at 100 proof, 50%. This is one of my favorites. It's always on my shelf. If I see it, especially on sale or something like that, I'm gonna get a bottle or two. And as Addison mentioned earlier, you can see this is the darkest of all four of them. You're really getting into like an actual like kind of rusty amber rather than a light amber, and coats the glass nicely. And has a really nice nose. I think is especially going from the small batch select, that higher proof. This is definitely a little bit more mellow on the nose.
I think so too. Yeah. It doesn't have quite that same, like what we were saying about the small batch, like the kind of caramel smell, like the dessert type flavor. Not quite as much of that. It's like a lighter smell, even though it's been aged longer. It's darker.
Yeah, I get a lot of vanilla, and yeah, just mellower.
Yeah. That's good. Not, I think it's got some of that bite to it, but I feel like it's not quite as much bite as with the small batch select.
Thanks again to Addison for letting us use his place to film this, and just for being here and participating. I think this was a lot of fun. Definitely want to do more of this. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe and be on the lookout for the next video.